We should be live.
All right, great. I'd like to call this meeting to order. We are in the absence of our chair, Paul Coates, as he is retiring and moving on to bigger and better things. So while we kind of have this forum, I do want to say, thank you to Paul for all the work he's done for the county and for this committee over the years. But in his absence, I'll kind of be running the meeting a little bit. So the first item before we get into approving anything is I want to take an official roll call. So I'll start with myself, Tim Stroshine. I'm Sally Fahey's proxy here from the Area Plan Commission, and I am here. So I know that Paul Coates is not here. Aaron Lyons, I don't see him on. I don't think he was going to show up, but just in case. All right, looks like Aaron is not here. So for Camden Street Commissioner, Jerry Snavely, who I also don't think is here. Okay, looks like Jerry's not here either. From Flora, the Street Commissioner, Kevin Schaefer, who I also don't think is here. Okay, looks like he's not here either. Flora Airport, Debbie Lowe was planning on coming, but I don't see her. Okay, Debbie's not here yet. Carroll County Sheriff's Department, Tobe Lesenby.
Present.
All right, thank you, Tobe. Delphi Police Department, Brooke McCain. I don't see Brooke. Okay, so it looks like he's not here either. Flora Police Department, Paul Redman. I don't see Paul. Camden Town Marshal, Randy Larimore. Don't see Randy.
Tim.
Yes. Yes.
Real quick, there needs to be an adjustment on Randy is no longer the marshal. The actual marshal now is Jill Hammond, Hammond.
Okay.
Randy has retired.
Okay, thank you for that update. Can I maybe contact you after the meeting to see if we can get some updated contact information for Joe?
You sure can.
Okay, thank you. I will do that. So let me make a note of that real quick. So Jill's contact info. Thank you, Tobe. All right. So then Area Plan Commission of Carroll County staff, Cameron Yates, who was planning on making it, but unfortunately due to shutdown, he is not going to be able to make it today. Okay. Then from NDOT, Marcia Blansett.
I'm here.
All right, great. And Jackie Hockaday.
I'm here.
Great. Okay. Have I missed anyone else who's not officially on the roster? Miriam, I know I do see you there, but anybody else besides Miriam? Okay, so this does leave us with 4 people, which puts us short of a quorum. So as of right now, we cannot take any official actions in terms of approving meeting minutes or anything. We would need one more person to show up virtually here, one more voting member to show up virtually here in order for that to go through. So with that, although we cannot approve any meeting minutes, did anyone happen to notice any corrections that they would like to point out in the meeting minutes? I can kind of scroll through them here real quick. But it sounds like everyone is okay with what we have. So we'll just have to leave those for next time unless someone joins us partway through. So with that, we will go ahead and move on to our next agenda item, which is a couple of things about the CAFO counts specifically. So I'm going to hand that off to Aria Steiger, our transportation planner, and I'm going to see if I can pull up some of the maps and information that she's put together about that.
Okay, thank you, Tim. So I've mentioned before the counting plan, our schedule was changed this year as a result of the shutdown and changes in traffic. So basically we had to split up our counts into kind of two phases. We did the initial counts, which kind of was in the midst of the stay-at-home order, and those we aimed for the non-CAFO areas, since CAFOs were the goal of our counts this year to try and get some truck traffic data. So we initially did, I think it was 19 stations in the towns, and we've had those results, and I believe I presented on those before. Just recently, we have completed the remaining, 46? I think 46 counts that we had positioned to collect that truck data from CAFOs and other truck destinations and sources around the county. Again, we pushed this kind of as far back into the years we could to try and alleviate the changes to traffic of this year. How successful we were, well, we did our best. I mentioned again before, NDOT does not have any adjustment factors for COVID, so we were not able to adjust the traffic to account for that this year. Perhaps in the future they will. If they do, we will make changes at that time. So the data we gathered, we did take classification data, which I don't have on the spreadsheet here. So the truck data, I'm still getting that all processed up here, and I'll have that for you once it's all sorted through. But you can see that traffic is, I guess, about what you would expect at many of these locations. It's not super duper high. Perhaps in the next meeting, we'll have a historical comparison for any of these stations that are stations we've taken before. Many of them are new stations, though, as I mentioned, to track that CAFO data. I guess general takeaways. It's hard to say how much we can really gain from this data this year. I think kind of treating it more of as an order of magnitude type study maybe will be the most useful way to look at this. So we can see some areas where there is very little traffic, and I think one or two of these roads were actually gravel roads, which we didn't expect all that many CAFOs to have truck traffic on, but they were theoretically locations where trucks could drive. So we took one or two of those, and I think one of them, you can see there, had 12 on those gravel roads, and we actually recounted that site because it was so low. The first time we took it, it was 9. The second time we took it, it was 12, and that's a daily average traffic count. So 12, 9, statistically about the same. So yeah, I think you can see on the map a couple sheets up all the locations for these. The blue ones are the first round, and the red ones are that second round. And I think the first map had the locations of the CAFOs on it as well, so you can kind of compare how we positioned those stations around the CAFOs to collect that truck data. So I think that's about it. Any questions on this data? No questions? Yeah, I guess it'll probably be more interesting once we have the full classification information ready for you here for how many of each type of truck there were. But again, the volumes were all so low at all of them. It's, I think, kind of the proportion of how many trucks versus how many passenger vehicles and other vehicles will be maybe the most enlightening for the percentage usage of trucks on these roads. So I think that's it for traffic counts then.
Yeah, I did want to mention just a couple of things about that to kind of follow up with that. The primary items being that, like Aria said, we will have some more detailed results for this forthcoming at our next meeting. We kind of just finished these up, so we haven't had time to dig into them as much as we'd like. So look forward to that. Additionally, when we first planned this study, that was kind of before the pandemic started. So if this is something that we're interested in doing again, we might want to look at this again in a couple years once traffic patterns have returned to more of what they're expected. So we will be working with whoever the new county highway department director is on that. But that is something that we're looking out for, is maybe kind of retaking these counts in a couple years when traffic patterns have normalized again. And then the other thing is that we still do have some counts to take in fiscal year 2021, which we will be taking in the spring. But at our next meeting, we will be establishing the locations for those. So we will have an initial proposal prepared for you guys before that meeting, and then we will send it out to everyone beforehand, and we will kind of formalize it at that February meeting, and then we'll get that information distributed to our traffic counters and get those taken. Okay, so then moving on to the next item, since there were no questions, the first item is under other business is the NDOT projects update. This was a follow-up from the August meeting, so I'm going to see if I can find the spot in the minutes where we talked about that. Yes, so it was right about here. Yeah. So there were a few questions about a couple of projects. So Jackie or Marcia, did you have any follow-ups on any of those items from our previous meeting?
Well, I'm going to have to read because I wasn't at the last meeting, so I'll have to. Did you send these meeting minutes? Did those come to us?
Yeah, they should have come in the packet
Okay.
that we distribute, yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, if there are there any questions from the committee about any projects that are currently going on that they would like us to follow up with? All right, I will take that as a no. That's fine. We can always look at those in the future. Okay, so that takes care of that agenda item. So then our next item is the NDOT 18-month letting list. So I'm going to see if I can scroll down to that for us here so we can all take a look at it. All right, so it's all right. So here we go. So there's not too much to report other than we have several new projects that are supposed to let in 2022, in March of 2022, and it looks like they're all State Road 25 projects. They're all bridge thin deck overlays. It looks like perhaps those are all together because they're bundled together. I see the same contract number on them there. So looks like those are set to go. Other than that, everything is the same, and we didn't get any bid letting results. So are there any questions, or Marcia or Jackie, if you have anything to say about these bridge projects or any other projects at this time?
Nope. Nothing's changed, or nothing's really changed.
All right. Well, then, if again, like I said, if there are any follow-ups from the committee that anyone wants to send to us, then that's fine. We will certainly be happy to work with NDOT as much as we can on that. So then our next item after that is about the grant activities that we have. So I'm scrolling through the packet here where it shows what we've proposed we're going to do. And I want to highlight one thing here specifically that's not something we do every year, but is something we're just about to start working on. So right here, the crash data review. This is something we do every 3 years. And this is the year where we are due to take another look at those. So we will be working on those very soon, and we hope to have at least some information for you guys at the next meeting. It might not quite be completed yet, but that is something that's on our to-do list. So other than that, most of it is going to kind of continue to be some of the same things we usually do with traffic counts and, of course, project tracking and all of that. And the other thing I wanted to highlight is that we can do at people's request would be speed studies. So if there is any interest in that from our law enforcement partners or anyone else on the committee, please feel free to contact us and we'll see what we can do using some of our data for those and get that to you. If not, that's okay too, but just wanted to remind everyone that that is something that is within the scope of the work that we can perform. Any questions about this? All right, I am not hearing any questions. So with that, we will move on to our next agenda item, which would be, as I'm scrolling up here, I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Yeah, okay. So adjournment. So because this isn't necessarily a formal meeting, I'm not going to ask for a motion for adjournment, but I'm going to ask if there are any objections to us adjourning or any other items that anyone would like to bring up before we adjourn. Okay, I'm not hearing anything. So with that, we will be adjourned, other than me saying that the meeting dates for 2021 are in our packet here. February 9th will be our next meeting. And thank you all for coming today, and everyone stay safe, and look forward to talking to you again in a couple months. And with that, we are adjourned.
Thanks, Tim.
Yes, thank you all.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.